glad to have you here today. I'll give everybody a minute to trickle in here. I know we've got a couple of folks that are coming in. So today we're going to be talking about integrating Salesforce with Genesys Cloud for enhanced CX. Brief overview of the agenda for today. We're going to talk a little bit about, who is Inflow, just to give you some context, if there's anybody who's unaware. And then I'm going to hand it over to Todd. Todd Williams is one of our subject matter experts on Genesys. He's got over 23 years of experience with the platform, one of our senior solutions engineers, very knowledgeable. So jumping in here just a bit, InflowCX, we've recently combined with Amplix. We focus on contact center and customer experience, really. How do you evaluate, deploy, and optimize the technologies that you use to engage with your customers? And what's the strategy that should be taken as you're approaching that? Everybody's got unique use cases, different environments, different customer bases. So whether that's across your contact center platform, using AI, WFM, BPO strategy, that's our bread and butter. That's the space that we play in, day out, and we do it very well. We have an average CSAT of 99.6%. Always looking to do better, but it's great to see numbers like that and see that the companies that do work with us tend to be very pleased with our performance. Here's a sampling of our customers. There's no one specific vertical that we're confined to. We've helped organizations of all sizes across the market. We do have specialty teams within certain verticals, such as healthcare, financial services, but we support customers across the marketplace entirely. And here's a smattering of the technology partners that we work with, whether it's in the core contact center system, the unified communications, or like I mentioned earlier, AI, quality, workforce management, outsourcing of agents, knowledge base. These are all areas where we can help guide customers in making decisions around their technology and how to best deploy that. So with that, I am going to hand it off to Todd.
Well, thanks, Stanton. Thanks everybody for joining. As Stanton was going through the overview of InflowCX/Amplex, and as us as an organization, I was thinking about when I got my coffee this morning. I mean, I may get my coffee from a specific, might get the same type of coffee, but where I choose to go to get that coffee is very important. And I'm just happy that you guys have come here today to entrust us as your partner to give you this insight into what Salesforce has done, and with the combining with Genesys Cloud to give you the enhanced CX. Things have changed. The landscape has changed dramatically. There's many options out there. There was one option, which was called the CTI client. Many of the integrations with many of the platforms out there. This was just basically an embedded client leveraging, just like it says, CTI, which is computer telephony integration. And it was a very simple integration where if a conversation, or whether it was a call, or in some cases, some omni-channel capabilities, where those channels, when they came in, it would tell the CRM saying, hey, I got this call, and it would put it in that CRM, so the agent would have some simulation of a cohesive interface. But it was kludgy, it was clunky. It's still around. You can still leverage it. But what's new on the horizon is this new native omni-channel integration, where it's been rethought. And that, when I say that, this has been a group or a joined partnership between Salesforce and with Genesys to build a connection that's basically API to API. It really gives a tighter integration. It gives a more fluid integration. And what that means is a consolidated one interface. It's going to get you to that one interface to allow you to have all your channels, not just, again, that omni-channel experience, and pull in not just the channel information for the agent, but pull in workforce engagement information, pull in supervisor information, pull in the metrics, consolidate those metrics, allow Salesforce to be that one spot for not just your agents, but also your supervisors and your reporting analytics. From a integration perspective, the CTI client was pretty easy. It was a configuration, a package that got installed on Salesforce. It allowed the Salesforce person to set it up, install it into your instance, and then with that, some very basic configuration, which allowed the routing basically, and some very basic passing of information. But it was pretty simple. But there was not a lot of context to it. And it did involve additional licensing, which was required for the agents on the Genesys side. The new version, which is the native omnichannel integration, which is they've labeled as CX Cloud. CX Cloud, again, lots of help information to kind of guide you through the setup. It still is a package, and when I say a package, there's actually multiple packages depending on how in-depth that integration you want to achieve. It can be as simple as just the agent integration. You can pull in the supervisor piece. You can pull in the reporting analytics. All those are separate components that get configured and set up on the Salesforce side. And it also allows you to leverage your Salesforce team to do the setup and the configuration in a more detailed and more concise manner. So instead of relying on the Genesys side for a lot of the setup, most of the setup is going to be on the Salesforce side this time. And that allows you to also configure customized dashboards, customized reporting metrics, because you combine those reports of both the Genesys metrics and the Salesforce metrics. There is still that additional licensing. It's a little bit different licensing because it's a different integration. And there's also an additional licensing required by Salesforce. It does require that from the Salesforce perspective that you have to purchase a Service Cloud voice license for those agents. What does this mean? I mean, I've already kind of pre-discussed it already. I mean, it's really moving from that open CTI widget that's been around for many, many years. I've been, again, 23 years. It's been out there at least 20 some years. And again, it's still not going away yet. It's on that the horizon. It sees its life is going to be ending eventually over the next few years, but it's still there. The new integration, as I've already talked about, it doesn't just give you the agent piece. It also adds in the unified supervisor, the workforce management, and then using all that integration and all the metrics that can be pulled in there, you can reduce that cost of ownership because you're adding all these tools into one interface, improving the efficiency of not just your agents, but your administrators and your supervisors. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and jump into an actual demonstration. So I'm going to switch screens here and show my screen. And as I've jumped into my screen here, as you can see, I'm in Salesforce. One of the cool things that you get with the new integration with CX Cloud is this nice one interface that's all blended. It gives you that omni-channel ability to route those interactions. It allows you to change the status within Salesforce of your agents, change, what they're working on. Do you want them to handle all interactions? Do you want them to handle just a phone call? Do you want them to handle just the emails? They can still leverage the omni-channel integration, which is in Salesforce inherently. You can still leverage that combined with Genesys. You're going to get the dashboards as far as giving you that workforce engagement, which is going to basically give overview of their schedules, their evaluation summaries. You can see right here, it's telling me what my statuses are. So that is a big leap. So instead of leveraging a separate platform for Genesys, you can be right in Salesforce see what I'm supposed to be doing as an agent and say, I'm supposed to be on cue, I'm supposed to take my meal or my breaks. It also gives you, as I've already talked about, it gives you those enhanced metrics around a dashboard. So pulling in the metrics from Genesys, you can combine those metrics with Salesforce. And again, not just sending, contact center metrics, but how many of those interactions were actually handled. So if it's leads, how many leads were handled by your sales team? If it's support tickets, how many support tickets were handled by your support team? All those metrics are in Salesforce through the dashboards and can be surfaced to your agents without leaving the interface. Going back to the window, as far as what you can see within that window, you're going to be able to see details around that conversation. So as an agent, when I get that phone call, there is no popping up a widget to get that conversation. That call is going to come in. You're going to have all your call controls right here, as you can see in my window here in the upper left. Very easy to see that phone call as I'm connected to it. I can put the call on hold. I can mute that caller. I can transfer that call. All those controls are all built in through this new integration within Salesforce and Genesys. I can also surface information around that voice call, as you can see in the middle panel here. So I'm going to see all the contacts of that conversation. I can pop this record here. I can see details around what queue did they come into, how long is this conversation being handled. I can add information to it through the notes over here on the left. And as I'm having that conversation, I can leverage other features and functionality built into Genesys as well as Salesforce. So from a Genesys perspective, I can leverage Agent Assist within Genesys, or I can leverage Agent Assist within Salesforce. And I can leverage either the Einstein within Salesforce to surface next best actions over here on the far right. And I can present information to that agent to help them as they're conversing with that customer, proactively pushing that information to them as necessary. These are actually screenshots that I'm showing you right here on this window. And then I'm going to dive into some of the marketer here as it kind of relates to as far as what is the details around this integration. Again, it was rewritten from the ground up, really tying in the voice channel and the CTI components, which as shown in this diagram, giving you a very tight integration between the two platforms. It's not a push-pull, it's a synchronization between the two. So as one status is, as the agent changes their status within Salesforce, it is reflected in Genesys. It knows it in real time. The data is being pushed between the two platforms. So any the metrics in that within the Genesys is being pushed into Salesforce as necessary. The great thing about this is, again, we're to that one interface. So within this window, I have the ability to see my dashboards. Here's a previous conversation that I had that I did that screenshot. And as those details are wrapped up, I have my home page. So being able to see that workforce engagement statistics that I was showing you in that other window. When am I supposed to be on cue? When am I supposed to take my breaks? The supervisor piece is also embedded in here too. So the ability for that supervisor not to leave Salesforce. So as a supervisor, I want to be out here and I want to be able to see what's going on in the queues. So being able to have all that information pushed into Salesforce and surfaced in real time allows that supervisor to stay in Salesforce, one interface. They don't have to worry about multiple window or tab switching. They just basically are just living in one window within Salesforce. And as I wrap up, I hope you see that this integration between Salesforce and Genesys makes for a very seamless and effortless new experience for not just your agents, but your supervisors and your administrators. There's not a lot of administration exposed today, but that's on the near-term roadmap, is to add an administration view here to give administration features to your users. So they don't, those administrators don't have to go into Genesys either. They can just go right into a specific window based on their roles and permission and be able to make those changes. Maybe add a user, move them from a queue, or maybe make some other minor changes as necessary. As I stated before, I hope you choose us going forward. Again, a lot of people can provide information around Genesys as well as Salesforce, but we would love to set up a call, talk to you, have further conversations on how this new integration could enhance the CX experience for, again, your entire organization. I'll open this up for questions. I don't know if anything has come in into the window. I'll pass this back over to you.
Yeah, it looks like we do have one from Chad asking, have you heard when CX Cloud will be available for FedRAMP orgs?
I have heard. I don't remember what that feedback was, but it is coming soon. I want to say by the end of this quarter for this year, if I remember right. But we can definitely take that as a takeaway. And if you want to, we should have your information, Chad. We can get back to you and give you some more details on that. But I did hear recently about it. I just don't remember the exact ETA that they were shooting for, but I believe it was this quarter. So,
any other questions?
Quiet group. I hope it was a good presentation. I hope you guys enjoyed it. So,
you just did that good a job, Todd. Well, I do want to thank everybody for taking the time to hop on with us. Obviously, if there are any other questions or follow up, feel free to reach out. Give us a call, send us an email. We're glad to chat with you, walk through your environment, any strategy questions that you have, technical questions. We're here as a resource for you. And Inflow, with our combined capabilities coming together with Amplix, we've got a lot of strong offerings moving into this next year. All right. Thank you, everyone.